I'ma need you all to jump. Tell a hater we do what we want. I just keep on running like I'm gum. Back up in this homie, get it bucked. Yo, I'ma need you all to jump. Tell a hater we do what we want. I just keep on running.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Unsung Talent, showcasing today's hottest and amazing, talented underground artist. I'm here with Andrew Riggs.
Hi.
And he is here for a special treat for you guys. He's a comedian and is gonna blow you guys away. Are you guys ready? Are you ready? Are you ready, Ann?
I think for the most part. It's the first time I've ever done it. No, just
So tell me about yourself so that the audience can get to know you a little bit more.
my name is Andrew. I'm 28. I'm from Louisville, Kentucky. I moved to Jersey in August. I'm newly a dad and a husband. I've been doing comedy for 2.5 years.
2.5 years. That's pretty interesting. Yep. What inspired you to want to do that?
The simple answer, I guess, is like making people laugh has always been kind of the instant gratification. Mm-hmm. The complex answer is being up on stage. It grants you a kind of medium or mode that kind of breaks down a barrier in like societal communications, because I could say stuff on stage that I can't really say in a normal conversation, and it makes
Especially
people like,
now. Mm-hmm.
oh yeah. Yes.
It's like you have to be careful, and even more so with comedians.
Oh.
You know.
What's weird about the comedian thing right now is Sam Morril said it best. He said the only people really fighting for free speech right now are comedians and racists. So you have to be like, no, not them, us.
You gotta be careful.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, let me just tiptoe.
I just want to say knock jokes and not be yelled at.
Mm-hmm. So were you one of those kids that were like always joking around or making pranks or anything like that?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So you're the one that people have to watch out for.
Yeah.
And you decided to move to good old Jersey, the what's considered now kind of like the dull state because everybody's moving out. Mm-hmm. Why would you move in? Why would you come here?
I was like, I'm not paying enough to drive on roads in Kentucky, so I moved here to infiltrate Easy Pass. No, my wife, her family's here. She has like 105 first cousins. So when
Wait, is that a joke or?
No, that's a real thing. Yeah, her family's from here entirely, and so she has a lot bigger family than I do, obviously. Mm-hmm. So I just came here to do the papa husband thing.
Okay,
yeah.
So just to be the family man, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know you have a lot of jokes about Jersey, but how are you feeling coming from over there to over here?
Every time I go into a public place here, I feel like the Grinch. You know how like in that one part he gets mad and he's like, toys, but it's lines. There are lines for everything here. There's so many people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think that there's a lot more to do here, and I think that that's probably because of population density. Mm-hmm. But
really, a lot more to do here. Mm-hmm. See, coming from here, we always feel like, and we always joke around like, oh, there's nothing to do, and it's like you're coming from an outside coming in, you're like, oh, there's so much to do in Jersey.
I think they're mainly also like there are a lot more businesses here. There's a lot more diners and stuff here. There's like we have Waffle House, but that's not really like, you all have like places that are good to eat when you're sober or not, and Waffle House isn't that.
So do they have like little like performance areas or like cafes that you can, for comedians or artists over there, or no?
The primary places that I performed there were actually the Comedy Caravan, which is the comedy club in Louisville, and then I did Crackers in Indianapolis. I did the Laughing Post. You kind of drive a lot. There is a pretty big comedy scene there, not quite as big as here. Mm-hmm. If you try to get on a show there, it's kind of you sign up and you can go on. Here, it's like we'll let you know in 6 weeks if you get 3 minutes on a stage.
Yeah,
So it's kinda,
yeah, and they do have like a comedy stop in Atlantic City. I know that, and I've heard of that. Like, is that something that you've looked into, or?
Yes, it is. That's for like really well-established comedians now because they don't do the open mic now. I do have a spot at Helium coming up, and that's a pretty big or prominent club.
Oh, that's cool. Now, is this something that you're pursuing? Like, is comedy something that you're going to pursue as your profession?
Yes. Before the shutdown happened, I had like touring dates. I wasn't like a headliner or anything, but I did have spots in Nashville, Indianapolis, Columbus. I was traveling with it.
Awesome.
And then the end of the world happened.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I think that even for right now, obviously, like I can do a career, which I do work a normal job, but it's not as satisfying at the end of the day doing that as it is doing comedy.
Right. I think that is for a lot of artists and a lot of creative minds like us. You know, this platform is here for you guys because it's important to have a place to go where you can feel comfortable to be yourself and be creative and be crazy and just do your thing. And it's very limited right now because of COVID, but I think that I'm hoping to see a brighter future with that.
Yeah, I really like hope that everybody who's passionate for whatever it is they do, whether it's music or painting, they don't lose that passion and or they don't forego that passion for money. I hope that like I do it because I like making people laugh. I hope that people don't like substitute monetary gain for like something that makes them genuinely happy.
Right. Now, would you do this online? Like, is this something that people can find you online to do, or do you prefer to see like people's interaction?
I did a few Zoom shows, but it's kind of like an angry one-sided conversation. Like, cause if you can't hear someone laughing, it's just kind of like a video diary where you're like, oh, the gas prices. And then you're just like, laugh, please.
Crickets.
Please laugh. Yeah.
Well, that's cool. I mean, I've never heard of it from that aspect before. You're the first comedian we have on the show, so it's interesting to kind of see that different perspective. We have a lot of artists who are like, oh yeah, you know, like the internet has been cool for them because they've been able to do a lot more. But for comedians, obviously, like you're in it for the laughs. So it's cool to hear that aspect of it.
I think like musicians, it's less instant gratification. So for me, when I go on stage, I want the laugh like as soon as I say the thing, or maybe like if it takes people a couple seconds and then they laugh a little bit harder, that's cool too. But like musicians, when you put out music, it's normally on like social media and you get like comments and other type of feedback, which I guess if you're a bigger comedian, people will do that, like leaving more comments and stuff, but like, I don't know.
How is it composing your comedy? Like, do you come up with it like out of the whim, or does something inspire you?
A little bit of both. I like looking at things and then kind of seeing what angles I can take to make it funnier, or comparisons that I could do to make it like more understandable about why I don't understand a thing. I force myself to sit down and write about a half an hour a day, an hour on Saturdays, and what's crazy about that is I can spend an hour writing and honestly come up with 45 seconds worth of jokes.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's awesome. Now, do you put them all out there? Like, do you test run it? Or do you kind of just like, that's funny, that's not that funny?
If I write it down, for the most part, I will. If I just think of it and I'm like, haha, that's funny, I'll like say it to my wife and she's like, don't ever say that to me.
Like, don't ever use that again.
I try to use all of my jokes at least one time. What I like to do is if I come up with something, I don't like writing out a word for word joke, so I'll just write like a premise. I'll write down a premise and then I'll perform it like 3 times, 3 different ways. Okay. And then if I like it and I can find a way to segue it with another, or use it with another joke, then I'll go that route. But
And where can people find you? Like if they want to have you come on board in one of their events, or just to see your comedies, where can they find you?
Andrew Riggs on Facebook. I have a page and I also have my personal account. And if it's any inquiries for booking, then it's jellyandspoon@gmail.com.
Okay, cool. And we'll put that on the lower third, so we'll be all ready to go. What kind of comedy are you performing today?
Observational.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Are you ready? Yeah?
I think so.
Okay, so before we go and get you ready to get on board, what is the one fun fact about you that the audience can keep?
I was a rank master at chess, EMT, firefighter for a while, trilingual.
That's so cool. What languages do you speak?
Portuguese, Spanish, English.
What? That's awesome. Where did you learn Portuguese?
My family.
Really? Are they Portuguese?
Yes. Well, they're from the part of Spain that hangs over Portuguese. Portugal. That's what that's what that's called.
See, that's something I would do too
Yeah.
and say that. So I'm glad you did and not me.
I was close. 3 languages, all right? I can't be perfect every time.
You are a comedian. I mean, they knew it was coming. They knew it was coming. So is there anything that you're working on right now as far as comedy or anything that you're interested in?
I actually have 2 podcasts coming out. One is in the works. I can't say much about it yet. And it's with someone pretty important. But the other one is a thing called Musical Chairs, which is an album review podcast. That's about it.
Musical chairs. Why musical chairs?
Because how it's going to work is so on week A, all right, we will review an album. On week B, the person that we reviewed in week A comes in to review the next album. So our mics switch.
Okay.
So it'll only be me and one other person consistently, and then the other people will be switching in and out.
Is it all genres of music?
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool. Awesome.
Actually, at some point, I'm going to have my dad on there, which is going to be super interesting because he's been playing bluegrass for like 40 years.
That's so cool.
Yes.
That's awesome. That would have been another good fun fact. Well, now you guys know.
No.
Boom, boom,
Well,
right?
from the bluegrass state, we all do it. All right, I play banjo. My mom plays the banjo. We're all horses. We all drink bourbon.
That's funny. That would be good. Is that part of your stand-up today?
No.
Okay. All
Let me
right.
write that down.
So tell me, before we wrap up and get you on the set and rolling, tell me who your favorite comedian is.
Right now, I would say Nate Bargatze. His new special is hilarious. I've never laughed harder.
I have
at
no
anything.
idea who that is. I'm sorry.
You have to check it out.
Okay, I will. Where is he from? Is he here?
No, he's from Nashville.
Okay. All right. Cool.
But-
I like Nashville. Awesome. All right. Cool. So are you ready? Are you ready to perform?
I think so.
Yeah. Are you guys ready? Drum roll, please. Brrr. Put your hands together for Andrew Riggs.
Hey, everybody. I'm Andrew. This is my stand-up routine. So, first of all, I want to talk about something that happened with coronavirus that none of us had ever seen, experienced, or expected in our lifetime, which is something being made in China lasting longer than 2 weeks. So, recently I seen a friend that I hadn't seen since we graduated high school. I should mention that this friend had lost about 150 pounds. No cool way to bring that up. Hey, you lost a person. So we did all our normal catching up that you do with high school friends. Hey, how are you? Where are you working? Do you want to get involved in my pyramid scheme? Everything that you would say to the people you haven't seen since high school. So after we got caught up, everything fell silent. And he decided to break this silence by being like, I'm not on drugs. If there is one way for me to think that you're on drugs, it's to say that when no one asked. I can't walk up to my wife and say, there's no other woman. She's going to be like, I wasn't thinking about it until you said that. I was thinking about what I wanted for dinner last Tuesday, and now I have nothing else to think about. It's like walking into my parents' room and saying nothing is broken. They would be like, that's weird because we're going to check everything and you're grounded now. So starting a family of my own, which is, it's been pretty interesting. The comments are very cliche. You're going to be a great dad. You're going to have a beautiful kid, which I guess I prefer to you're going to be an idiot dad with a nightmare child. Seems a little bit nicer. My family, I come from a pretty interesting family, which is, You know, my father, my mother, my grandmother all have produced a lot of great and funny stories for me, and unsuccessful therapy appointments, but that's not what's important. I'm raising my kid. You know, it's really cool. It's getting another chance to raise who you could have or you should have been. It's like looking into a little mirror. The primary difference between me and him is that way less people are willing to help out when I poop my pants and cry. So, you know, glad to be there for him. So my grandmother, at the age of 6, she was a traveling acrobat for the Ringling Brothers Circus. She was traveling all 48 intercontinental states. She was paid a salary. And you may be asking yourself, Andrew, what were you doing? How were you great at the age of 6? And I'm going to tell you right now. But before I do, it's something that I no longer have the money, the time, or the resources for. And that is, I could draw with a crayon pretty well. I could do it all, right? I could paint a bush. You know what? Maybe I wasn't so great at it. Maybe I wasn't. We all have macaroni art that, you know, that doesn't belong there. Maybe that's just a cynical part of my brain, because I don't even know if Helen Keller could speak Spanish or if her parents just told her that. So, like I was saying, I come from a pretty interesting family. Kind of messed up family. Not Disney family messed up. Nobody died in the first 3 minutes. But, you know, other than that, I spent a lot of time recently thinking about, you know, Timon and Pumbaa. I got Disney Plus, you know, for free for a while. I'm not paying anymore, but, you know, that's beside the point. So, Simba, he's walking through the desert for, I don't know, 2 days. And then the first people he sees are like, hey, what's going on? What's your story? He's like, well, my father died. My uncle usurped my throne, and I feel responsible for his death. And they go, wow, that's crazy. Have you ever tried to calm down and, you know, stop talking about it to people? We're trying to eat bugs, man. So, over this whole fiasco, COVID, a lot of Confederate flags got removed. People were mad. This is our history. Probably not as much up in the northern half of the United States, but definitely down south. And people were like, you're taking our history away. You're taking away part of who we are. I don't know how prideful you get to be about something that lasted 38 years less than Chia Pets has. You hang a Confederate flag on your porch, people were like, oh, this guy, you know, beats his sister wife and thinks dentists are oppression. Chia Pets everywhere? where am I? Is this the Galapagos? Anyways, one last joke to go out on. I recently moved to the Garden State, and I immediately took offense to this as a person who comes from a pretty rural area. I asked my wife's friend why it was called the Garden State, and he was like, it used to be gardens everywhere. I've seen 4. And the phrase in and of itself, everywhere used to be a garden. Everywhere used to be a garden. Everywhere that there isn't stuff, there was that. Anyways, thanks for my time. Thank you guys for having me on.
Thank you so much, Andrew. That was funny. You are funny. Boom, boom. Shh. And we close out Unsung Talent with Andrew and Chrissy. See you guys later.